Good morning.
Good morning.
This is an interview with Georgia Representative Sean Jerguson on March 7th, 2011.
Sean, may I call you Sean?
Yes, please.
I'm here today to talk to you about HB 401 and how it applies to future elections that are going to be held in our state. Can you give us a little overview of what that is going to be?
Well, Carl, I really appreciate you being here today and discussing this issue. It's an issue that certainly has been on a lot of people's minds over the last couple of weeks. A number of legislators in our House have co-sponsored this bill. And I think before we discuss the bill itself, it's important to set a little bit of foundation, what's behind the bill. I think we can all agree that we are a nation of laws, and we're governed by a nation of laws. And those laws are based on a framework and a foundation called the Constitution. The Constitution requires certain things of us and requires that our laws be framed in such a manner as to comply with our country and its formation. That's the background of the bill. And the bill itself is very simple. It says that as a result of our federal Constitution and the lack of Congress enacting any laws to the contrary, that the verification process for the President and the Vice President's appearance on the ballot in a state, those rules would be set by the state in which those ballots are distributed. That is the plain, simple fact of the bill. Right now, there in some areas are lacking the verification of that process. Now in Georgia, we have already granted the Secretary of State the legal responsibility to verify any of the people that would be on a potential political election ballot in our state. This bill simply enables the Secretary of State to have a certain framework with specificity for the President and Vice President of the United States.
The question comes up as to the long form or the birth certificate, and this is what one of the requirements would be, that they show to prove that they are eligible to be President or Vice President. Is that correct?
That is correct. A birth certificate is one form of proof that an individual can show to meet the requirements of the federal Constitution to be placed on the ballot for President or Vice President. In addition to that, there are also other types of documentation that can be presented by an individual in lieu of a birth certificate should there not be one.
And what might that be?
The bill is very specific in some of those forms, but it also allows flexibility. Those can be baptismal records, they can be college records, they can be other governmental issued records, for example, maybe a driver's license or some type of military service ID. But the responsibility of the Secretary of State at that point is to look at the totality of the records to ensure that the Constitution is being complied with.
Sean, can you give me your understanding of Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5?
Would be happy to. I think that it's important that we look at the historical record of what that term means. And the historical record is very clear. It would be nice if we could go back and ask our founding fathers what their intent is, but in lieu of not being able to do that, we have to look at the historical record. And the historical record is clear in that that individual be born on American soil and that their parents be naturalized citizens by the time that that individual is born. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what that clause means. So as we look at that particular definition, it's important, and I believe the Founding Fathers' intent was very simple. It's not a complex issue. And that is the individual running for the highest office of our land has no loyalty to any other country except for the United States of America.
Sean, can you address the issue that we've had where the officials are being subjected to false information coming from the media and giving us waning support on this bill.
Well, I find it very interesting how certain media outlets will take issues and spin the issue. We have seen this on numerous occasions this year in the legislative session already, but specifically with the bill at hand. When only half-truths are printed or discussed and the totality of the issue was not discussed, I think it's a real hindrance to the Georgians getting the correct information, Americans getting the correct information. And that certainly has happened in this case. I've read the media reports and it has been disconcerting. The entire truth has not been laid out so that all of Georgia can understand what this particular bill and this particular issue is about. When we look at the past 3 weeks and the waning of support for this bill, my personal opinion is that that has been as a result of misinformation. So I would encourage your viewers, I would encourage Georgia voters and other citizens around our great country to actually read the bill, read the words that are printed on paper, and understand that this is nothing more than ensuring that the framework of our laws, our Constitution of the United States of America, is being followed. It has nothing to do about individuals. It has nothing to do with past issues. It has everything to do so that future elections in our state will be compliant with our federal Constitution and our state Constitution.
Can you recommend how the Georgia voters can further this process in contacting various officials?
I think the most effective way to help a bill move forward is for the average Georgia citizen to engage, to contact their state senator and their state representative and the governor's office in a respectful and polite way and make their voices heard. This issue is a dividing issue with some individuals, as has been reported in a lot of the media outlets. But I hope today's message we can get a little bit past that and understand what the true issue is here. And it's about having and following a simple rule of law. And that respectful communication to our elected officials is imperative, because as we hear more and more from our constituents that this is the direction that Georgia wants to go, and I think it is, otherwise I would not have signed and co-authored the bill, then we will see success in our endeavors. And I appreciate you being here and bringing this issue to the forefront of your viewers.